Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable Special Edition. Yes, this is tidy and tantalizing. We're not talking about a company. We're not talking about a sector. Well, we're kind of talking about a sector. We're talking about the upcoming May 17th and 18th Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. Yes, stoked. Huge this year. Lots to learn for you, us, everyone.
Last year.
Huh?
Huge this year compared to last year.
Well, yeah, that's definitely true. And the year before, I would imagine.
That, quite
well, why don't you
that.
start us off, CP? That's Chris Perry there in the far corner. It's Galen down here in the basement with me in the semi-dark, and he's making
ginger beer.
I don't know, ginger beer.
Yes.
Add some ginger beef to it too.
Ginger beef.
Ooh, okay. Actually, that might be all right if I.
With Salvatore, we actually profiled ginger beef one day.
Yes, we did.
All right, Perry, what are we doing at VRIC?
Look, if you've just sort of started your journey on the stock market, you've just sort of gone and opened your Wealth Simple account because it's the cheapest way to get on the stock market, and you've thrown $57 at Coinbase, and now it's $35. You may be thinking, what is this stock market thing? How do I even get ahead of the game? Well, it's like anything else. If you really want to learn about the market, you got to go listen to the people who do it for a living. And the easiest, bestest place to do that, other than Equity.Guru,
hey, I recognize that face,
right?
Is at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, if you're indeed in Vancouver, down at the Convention Center on the 17th and 18th. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where you will see yours truly doing a little keynote on explaining to companies that if your story is the same as everybody else's, then you don't have a story. But also lots of people that are, traditional big wigs, big swinging dicks, and or other private parts, let's not be gender specific, will be up on stage explaining to you what they think is going to be the next big thing, what they think is over with, what they're investing in, what they want you to invest in. And you'll also get, like 300-400 companies that are out there with a card table and a map behind them that will be saying, hey, why don't you invest in us? Because we're great. It's pretty much the pitch for 98% of them, honestly. So, a lot of people sort of feel like, well, I don't know enough about investing, so this is a weird place for me to go to. I'm going to feel out of my element. Don't trust that instinct. The cold, hard reality of it is it's a place where a whole bunch of professionals in the market are going to be trying to convince you that their deal is a deal worth investing in. So, hey, walk around, let them fluff you up a little bit, let them give you their phone number, let them tell you how important it is that your $56 goes to them, and pick up some knowledge along the way. Quite frankly, if there's 400 booths, I'll be talking to 400 people about why their story is supposedly better than everybody else's, and I'll be hearing about 396 very similar stories. Don't let that perturb you. You'll realize by the end of the conference that you're as smart as anybody on that floor. And that in and of itself is value for money, especially when the low cost of actually getting a ticket.
Nice. Half the battle. By the way, different haircut for you there on that your little profile photo.
I'm looking pretty good now, huh? Right?
Yeah, you're looking pretty cut. But we've got an older photo from you, I think from your newspaper days.
Oh yeah, we've got to get some new headshots. We got a barber in the office now.
Yeah, we do.
Our friend Rob Fay will drop his barber gear at a moment's notice and give you a nice tight one. So
yeah, I think
he's looking pretty sharp. He's looking like a businessman.
That's a good job.
Yep. People can come by the way.
Who amongst us isn't getting a haircut in the markets right now?
You can stop by and see the Equity.Guru folks at the booth. It's the team sexy table, I think is what they call it.
Come and ask us a question. You'll be able to find us if you just walk in the furthest possible direction towards a corner of the building. We'll be there in the place where nobody goes.
Martini?
Media Row.
Vishal, you've had some, you're experienced, obviously. You're Mr. Resource himself. So what are you expecting? What have you loved in the past?
Yeah, so I've been to multiple resource conferences. I've been to the Metals Investors Forum. I've been to the Mike Maloney Money Show Conference, which is every February. I believe it's called the World Outlook Conference. I've even been to Sprott's Natural Symposium, which is held in summer every year, and it's a bit more pricier. I was also fortunate enough to go to PDAC in Toronto, which is the world's largest mining conference. But the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, it has a special place in my heart. It's probably my favorite one out of the bunch, not only because it's in Vancouver, but it was because it was the very first sort of conference that I went to when I got into markets and got into mining, maybe back in, was it 2016 perhaps was my first conference, VRIC conference. And I remember those days. I was sort of the only guy with, I was either not bald or didn't have gray hair. A lot of older people, a lot of older people show up to the mining conferences. And I remember back then, and gold was probably, I think, less than 1,200 an ounce. And not too many young people were into gold at that time. But the most busiest conference I saw was in 2018. And that was actually when Bitcoin just made recent highs, hitting $20,000 per coin back in December of 2017. And VRIC, because they're always trying to get the young people coming to these conferences, brought a lot of crypto guys. And there was a lot of young people at that conference in 2018. Gold prices sort of fell after in 2019 and 2020. Didn't see much of a young crowd there. And I'm looking forward now to see how the turnout is this year, because this is after the pandemic. We haven't had a big conference like this in Vancouver. A lot of young people have been looking at the markets and have been looking at commodities. It's not just going to be gold and silver. You'll see some uranium, copper, nickel, all that kind of stuff will be there. And the Wall Street Silver, they're going to be there, believe it or not. But the creator of Wall Street Silver is going to be there. So I'm just, excited to see if we're going to see a lot more young people. And I think that's what a lot of these mining execs have wanted to see for a long time, right? We've been trying to get young people into this crowd because, of course,
just imagine if someone had been saying since 2014, hey, you guys need more young people in here, and being completely fucking ignored until this year.
Yeah.
Just imagine if someone had built their entire business around bringing young people in resources and said every year, we're going to get some young people in here. And all the gray haired people have been like, that sounds difficult. What's their fact number?
And they've tried in the past, like they brought in a guy named Timothy Sykes, who's more of a day trader. And he has a very young crowd, so they've tried with him. I believe this year maybe they're trying with Robert Kiyosaki here, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, just because he seems to be on a lot of these channels focused to young people. So there's going to be a pretty big names here. And I used to go and visit a lot of these corporate meetings. So when you look at the agenda, you're going to see company showcases and workshops. So I already have Chris Perry's workshop here in my calendar, as well as a few other ones. And I think, you should probably build a list of workshops you want to see. In terms of company showcases, these presentations are going to be on the websites and probably on YouTube. I think it's much better to go to these companies' booths, ask questions, talk to management, ask them simple stuff. Talk about the jurisdiction, right? Talk about the biggest goal the company accomplished last year. What are they looking to accomplish this year? And then, how much money they have in the bank. I'm a bit nerdy when it comes to geopolitics and economics, so I like to discuss about where gold and silver is going in the future. And I've had some nice conversations with some CEOs and some big names in the past, and I'm looking forward to this year. So basically, I want to see what the sentiment's going to be, because if there's a lot of people, we know there's going to be a lot of popularity and a lot of investor money looking at the commodity space. And I really want to see if we're going to see young people at the conference. And the one stick point that I have right now is usually the conference is on Sunday and Monday. In the past, it's always been Sunday and Monday. And Sunday, because it's a weekend, we tend to get a lot of the retail crowd coming out on Sunday, and then Monday you see a lot more of the I guess the Bay Street guys, the guys who work in finance. So this year, it's Tuesday and Wednesday, so that might be we might be seeing more of the executive crowd and the money that's actually in there. So I'm looking forward just to see what the turnout's going to be.
So initially, the conference was set for, I think, early February, but it fell right in the middle of the COVID problem. So this might be the only dates they can get, but it will definitely be smaller attendance from the retail side as a result.
Right. By the way, you brought up crypto, and I just noticed a couple of days ago, there's a story about a $2.7 million NFT that was revalued. It was bought a year ago, now $277.
Yep. That would have been the original tweet from Mr. Doherty.
Yeah, that's
a picture of the original tweet.
Yes, not even the
back
original
and
tweet.
get yourself.
You paid 2.7. Yeah. Talk about the scam fad. Like, how about the pet rock of 2021?
So moving on from that particular little aspect, I'd like to reiterate the fact that if you have mined Bitcoin, you've been mining something that's immaterial and basically wasting away on the boards right now. Good luck. If you had actually spent your money on a gold mining company, you would have mined something of material and might have actually come out ahead. So even though the markets are depressed right now, there still is an opportunity within the industries that actually produce things. So if you want to look towards mining, which is actually showing an upside right now because, hey, everything else is falling apart, let's invest in some gold and silver. Gold and silver is still currently getting a little bit of a clap. But you know what? It's a lot better than Bitcoin right now. So
getting the what?
Hey, it's getting clapped. Clapped.
Oh,
that's a term. It's a term. Yes.
So anyway, get with the young people, Robert.
Yep.
Sorry.
So anyway, what we're seeing right now is a market interest is shifting once again into the junior mining space. Now, people are feeling the pinch right now because the markets themselves aren't performing as well as everybody would like. But if you were relatively prescient, you would probably have moved most of your holdings into cash and watching the rest of the people cry over spilt milk. So hopefully you have the amount that you can just sort of saunter on over into the mining sector and make that investment that could take you on into the future. VRIC has always been old people. It's been a majority of walkers and guys with little emphysema tanks wandering around being very crusty.
You ain't lying.
Nope.
It's true.
But now I think we are seeing a bit of a shift. Jay Martin is a clear example of the new face of mining and the new face of mining media. I'll just let you see a picture of the fine young gentleman. He's in charge of the VRIC conference. He's the one that put it together, Cambridge, and is showing the new face of mining. We're going to see a lot of new kids on the block this year. So it'll be neat to see how the demographic is actually evolving. We've got Stephen Harper showing up, for those of you that even remember that he was a Prime Minister of Canada. I don't know what he's going to be talking about, other than the Alberta fire wallpapers. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see what these people have to offer. Now, if you're going, and you're a first-timer, it may seem a little daunting because mining is made up a whole lot of geology, and that is so hard to understand. There's a lot of different workshops that you can head to, that you can begin to take a bit of a grasp. There's books that you can get. The Northern Miner makes a mining manual that you can take a look at. And as Vishal said, you can talk to these people. They're more than happy to tell you their story. And you can actually ask them probing questions. Just exactly, what do you mean by footwall? What are you talking about, man? And they'll be happy to explain because they are looking for your investment dollar in their business.
Some of them will.
Well,
some of them won't. Some of them will be like, oh, so you don't already know geology? Sorry, you should move on. I'm not interested.
Yeah, those are the idiots
that
arcane
and backwards some of these IR people are.
No.
If you're not carrying a walker around and some oxygen, they figure, why am I even talking to you? Young people don't invest. You should go home and play video games. Oh, by the way, what video games do you like? Minecraft?
Totally. Or you've spent your fortune mining Bitcoin and would rather move to something a little more material. So and this is going to be an interesting conference. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to shoot new blood into the whole industry.
Ooh. Chris Perry, by the way.
I know, we've been saying that for years. We've been hoping upon hope. You know, it's like old wheels grind slowly.
Of my keynote, I think it was in 2018, that was titled, 5 of you guys will be dead by this time next year, so we better get some young people in. And when I got out there to start it, I looked, and it was a full house of bald heads.
Yep. And five of them died before the talk was over.
The only question they're really interested in is, do you know which five? You know,
Yep.
it was like,
God. They're like,
every company, every mining company will tell you that they're really interested in getting young people in.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you walk down the rows and you see literally like 40 at a time companies with a Fiverr logo, with a website that was bought off a shelf, with a social media account that gets updated once a month, and you know, like press releases that read like arcane writings of Jerusalem. Like it's just, how would any young person get involved? It's like, it comes right down to the company names: XYZ Resources, XYZ Mining. What about XYZ Energy Metals or Technology Metals? Or
it's become a little silly in terms of being elitist. Because if you don't know, we don't want you.
Well, they're all going for the same. That's the same audience that's been running out of money for the last 20 years, right?
Exactly.
Like if you got on one side a 20-something who's working 2 jobs and saving money hand over fist because they're never going to buy real estate and they don't have kids yet, and if they lose $10,000, just goes back to work and gets another $10,000, compared to grandpa who's retired and on a fixed income and knows that the 20 grand that he's got floating around in the bank account is the difference between him eating steak and eating cat food.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go for the young people. I'm going to have an easier time getting money out of them than I am the old guard. No, you know, no offense to the old guard.
Right.
You know, I'm one of you.
Yep.
But, you know, the young people, if they get a win, they go straight to social media. They tell 10,000 people.
Right.
If I get a win, I don't want my ex-wife finding out about it.
Yeah. Your fresh bloodline was pretty accurate. 11:20 is the Chris, by the way, on Tuesday. That's his presentation.
First day.
What's that?
He's doing it on the first day.
It says 11. Yeah, your
First day, Tuesday.
11:20. Finding your storyline. Stand out or stand down. Damn it.
So if you're a CEO of a public company or an IR person from a public company, my presentation is directed at you specifically. It's about figuring out how to not look like the other 60 guys in the row next to you at VRIC, how to figure out what your storyline is, what your origin story is, how to humanize your CEO, how to expand yourself out of the traditional IR market into a whole brand new demographic of investor who is more than happy to get behind a good story rather than just trade in and trade out.
Good answer.
And if you're not memorable, then what are you there for? If you can't do a 30-word or less pitch, what are you even doing?
Keeping the lights on.
Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, Tuesday, Wednesday, 17th, 18th May. That's Chris at 11:20 on Tuesday. We'll see you over there, and we'll be talking to you again here on the Investor Roundtable. For Chris, Vishal, and Galen, I'm Rob. We'll see you soon. Cheersies.